kind of short.
Oh, kinda.
No.
It looks pretty full.
Oh,
no. It looks pretty full.
Yeah, it's big.
It's been bigger, but it looks pretty full. Grace, Merriam, and DeCandio on your right. Connolly, Monsees, and Izu on your left. And we will be underway here in just a moment. All right, it's a mountain, excuse me.
I was going to say swamp.
It looked like a swamp and a faithless looting to get things started.
What unset is that? The newest unset?
Unstable.
Unstable?
Unstable.
Yeah, that's a perfect name for that set because I can't tell the difference between those lands.
It'll be a bridge from below and a Gravecrawler that go into the graveyard from Merriam. He's got an Ancient Ziggurat into the very powerful Noble Hierarch. This is an Insolent Neonates. Activate that, sacrifice it, discard as part of the cost a bridge from below, so not one, but 2 Sam Black zombie tokens should be on the way here in just a moment.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest interactions with Insolent Neonate and Bridge from Below. The first time I actually saw this interaction was at the most recent Pro Tour 25th anniversary. And the way the players explained it, since the discard is part of the cost on Neonate, you discard it kind of at the same time that you're discarding or you're sacrificing the Neonate.
Yeah.
So it sees it. So you do get the extra zombie token.
2 zombie tokens there for Nathaniel. However, no second land and not that explosive of a start for him. Over there for Merriam is a champion of the parish into a Thalia Guardian of Thraben. Counter on the champion. Here's another copy of the Neonate. We'll see that go active again. The discard here is going to be another copy of Gravecrawler. So 2 more zombies on the way. Draw a card now. Will Nathaniel, has he found a second land? It looks like the answer is yes in Blood Crypt. And I also see a Greater Gargadon over there. So this deck's starting to get going here, Todd.
Yeah, a lot of the creatures sacrifice themselves already, so something like Greater Gargadon is mostly there to let you kind of go ballistic with your creatures that don't allow you to sacrifice them. You know, you have a bunch of 0-mana cards like Hangerback Walker. You can sacrifice those while also getting the 1/1 Thopters. But for the most part, this deck is just trying to turn out as many zombies as possible with Bridge from Below in the graveyard. And if that means playing a bunch of 0-mana creatures all in the same turn, that's good enough. That triggers Vengevine. That creates a bunch of zombies. And if you pair that with something like Goblin Bushwhacker, you're dealing a huge chunk of damage as early as turn 2.
We have a Beast on Suspend with 10 Suspend counters. Greater Gargadon, an old one there from Time Spiral Block. You can sacrifice an artifact, creature, or a land to remove a time counter from Greater Gargadon. Play this ability only if Greater Gargadon is suspended, as you're going to see Merriam play another copy of Champion of the Parish. Horizon Canopy, take a damage. Here is Mantis Rider. Counters there on the champions. More importantly, though, Todd, he's in the air with Exalted.
Yeah, the flying here...
not Exalted, but please continue.
Sorry, the flying is going to be pretty important in this matchup. The Vengevine deck is very good at gumming up the ground. You're going to see Ross Merriam basically trying to get rid of the bridges from below from Nathaniel's graveyard by allowing one of his creatures to die. He's more than fine trading that 4/4 Champion of the Parish for 2 zombies, but Nathaniel here, you saw him obviously chump block. He wants to keep his bridges around, but he doesn't want to take too much damage because of that Mantis Rider.
And you saw the block with the zombie, sacrifice the zombie to the Gargadon. Now it's going to fall down to 8 suspend counters on the upkeep, as Todd did mention. Doesn't want to lose those bridges, a very integral part to his game plan, and his deck overall. He's got 2 of those in the graveyard. Picked up another copy of a Blood Crypt, did Nathaniel. Now he's going to play, it looks like a Faithless Looting. He's going to have to pay an additional mana for it because of the Thalia. But he'll draw 2 and discard 2, and we'll see what's going to go to the graveyard here in just a moment.
That looks like a Vengevine.
It looks like maybe another copy of Gravecrawler. Maybe it was a Stitcher Supplier. Either way, Blood Crypt is going to enter the battlefield untapped. Nathaniel's going to fall down to 13. Gravecrawler will be cast.
I'm pretty sure he has a 0-mana creature as well, and Hangerback Walker. Whew.
So Hangerback Walker is going to be cast. Vengevine's going to come back in the graveyard. 2 more zombies will enter the battlefield because of the Hangerback Walker entering and then very quickly leaving the battlefield, given state-based effects. So now we've got a 4/3 on the battlefield. However, again, for Nathaniel and how great of a battlefield he's built, Todd, can't really attack.
Yeah, so the Mantis Rider and the Thalia both threaten to eat a zombie for free. 2 of those zombies you see on the battlefield have Summoning Sickness, including the Gravecrawler as the 3rd zombie having Summoning Sickness. The Vengevine doesn't really want to attack because if he wants to trade Mantis Rider, he loses both of his bridges from below. So he's basically working up for a big Goblin Bushwhacker turn, and I think we're going to try to see that over the next few turns. If he can't assemble that, I think the Mantis Rider might be enough to just deal the last few points of damage by itself.
Merriam going to start his turn by playing an unclaimed territory, most likely naming humans, but we will confirm. Could be illusion. I doubt it, however, of course, because the 2 copies of Ancient Ziggurat can help to cast Phantasmal Image, sacrifice Horizon Canopy, draw a card. Now he'll play the very powerful Thalia's Lieutenant, a card that actually did make Patrick Chapin's top 25 white cards of all time. Maybe a little surprising to see such a new card on there, but it's real good in this deck, Todd.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's one of the backbones to this Humans deck. Not only does it allow you to play a bunch of weaker humans with disruptive abilities while still making them have relevant bodies, but it's a 2-mana creature that gets bigger every time you play any creature in your deck.
It looks like Merriam's done a nice job of coming up the battlefield while also building power in the air. Mantis Rider, a very integral part to matchups like this. Going to attack there for 6 damage in the air. 3/3, put a counter on it from Thalia's Lieutenant, 2 Exalted Triggers from the Noble Hierarch, and as good as a start as Nathaniel has had, not the most explosive one here from Red Black Vengevine, but certainly not a bad one. Not sure he can ever get through.
Yeah, the problem with his early turns is that he didn't play a second land on turn 2. If he had had that second land, he could have played another Insolent Neonate and just went ahead and played something like the Hangerback Walker, generating roughly 6 zombies on the second turn. But instead, he only made 4. He didn't actually. He could have made a bunch more. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Anyway, missing the second land drop, hugely important in this game.
Another zombie here.
They ran out of tokens.
Well, somebody's in trouble. Somebody's in trouble, part of the team here. We're going to have a stern talking to Nick Miller.
All right, I just want to point out there is a chance that Nathaniel kills Ross this turn. With Gravecrawler and Greater Gargadon, you're able to not only chain Vengevines coming back, you can basically just make a ton of zombies, and if he has a Goblin Bushwhacker here, I don't know that he has enough blockers. We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, it involves Bushwhacker to get the job done here, no doubt. Sacrifice all this stuff, float mana. There is the Bushwhacker, and now all of these creatures are going to come across. Keep in mind, there are 3 power creatures, as we'll take a look at Goblin Bushwhacker. The Kika.
Yeah, so it looks like Ross has access to 6 blockers here. He can block 5 of the zombies and their Greater Gargadon, but that's still going to leave, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures unblocked, all with, or most with 3 power, 1 with 2. So that looks like 20 damage exactly.
So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 zombies. Well, Ross is lining up blocks as though he might be able to survive.
Yeah, I don't think he's counted yet. That's the problem. So let's see. So if this is how he's blocking, he's definitely not blocking the Goblin Bushwhacker. That's just 1 less point of damage. If he blocks like that, that's 21. But if he blocks a zombie instead of the Bushwhacker, it's 20.
That's 20, yeah. So he is going to actually somehow lose this game. That's the explosiveness of this deck. And I got to give Nathaniel Monsees some credit here. He had some opportunities to maybe make some attacks with Vengevine where he would have lost his bridges.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't do that. Just kind of said, I'm going to settle. I'm going to continue to build. The only way I can win is exactly what you mentioned, Todd. It involves Goblin Bushwhacker. He found one. Game over.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Bushwhacker for a while. He drew the 4th land to be able to play Gravecrawler multiple times in the same turn. Each time he cast one, not only was he able to trigger the Vengevine later on by recasting them, but he was also able to generate 2 zombies for every creature he sacrificed. I'm pretty sure he created 8 zombies that turn, and then the Goblin Bushwhacker was able to just deal the last few.
Sideboard time. We're going to start with Ross Merriam, who's got 3 copies of Sin Collector, 2 Direfleet Daredevil, 2 Gaddock Teague, 2 Reclamation Sage, 2 Izzet Staticaster, 2 Gutshot, a Dismember, and a solo Hostage Taker. You're not really going to find any graveyard hate here, Todd. Humans doesn't really play much of that. And really, I don't know if you find any cards here that you really like in the matchup.
No, this is not a matchup that Humans is good against. Something like Grafdigger's Cage isn't even that good in this matchup, simply because the card Bridge from Below just needs to be sitting in the graveyard, and it doesn't require creatures to be returning to the battlefield. So because we're a Humans deck that's playing 5 colors, our lands are kind of restricted to be a little more geared towards playing creatures and not other hateful sideboard disruption. Like we can't play Rest in Peace, for example, because 12 of our lands don't cast it. So we're in this position where we desperately need creatures to be our sideboard spot, and there aren't that many good Humans creatures in Modern that would even be good in this matchup, let alone good sideboard cards.
Yeah, I'm looking here. And, Direfleet Daredevil's First Strike, cool, might be able to, I don't know, recast a Faithless Looting or something. That's okay. It's not anything special. Gaddock doesn't do much. Reclamation Sage doesn't do much. Staticaster is an 0-3. If you're able to double up Staticasters, it's good.
Yeah, I think the Staticaster is actually going to be one of Ross's best bets here. If he's able to get it onto the battlefield, he can either draw the second copy or any of his Phantasmal images. On top of that, most of the 1 toughness creatures from Nathaniel's side, most of his creatures are 1 toughness, aside from the zombies he creates from Bridge from Below. So Ross could be able to clear those out. Staticaster also can kill your own creatures.
That's the big one.
Which is important against Bridge from Below because the way you get it out of the graveyard, aside from traditional exiling effects for targeting the graveyard, is to just have one of your own creatures die. I've lightning bolted my creatures a lot in the past to get rid of some Bridges from Below, especially in a format like Legacy, like Temur Delver. I'll just kill my own Delver.
Got to.
If you're about to Dread Return, get back a friggin' Gristlebrand or whatever. No, I'm killing my own Delver on turn 2. There's nothing you can do about it.
Other side of thing here for Nathaniel Monsees. He's got 4 Leyline on the Void, 3 Thoughtseize, 3 Lightning Axe, 3 Ingot Chewer, and then 2 Destructive Revelry. Maybe you want the Lightning Axes, but I'm not even sure if he needs them. I think he might just want to keep trying to just do his thing and be as explosive as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you see in Modern a lot of times these really straightforward decks like Vengevine, they play a bunch of 4-ofs and 3-ofs in their sideboard card for matchups that are specifically bad for them. I think Lightning Axe could be good as a way to destroy one of Ross's disruptive creatures. For example, if Ross plays a Meddling Mage, that could be bad. If he's able to name like Faithless Looting before one comes down, he can start naming some of the sacrifice outlets like Viscera Seer or whatever. Goblin Bushwhacker being one of the premier cards to name.
That would have been a big name. That would have been a big name that game.
But for the most part, I think Nathaniel just wants to be his main game plan. I don't think he's sideboarding more than a few cards, and I think Lightning Axe is the only one that I would really want.
Well, these players are going to cut and shuffle all that jazz. While they do that, let's talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale. It's going to end on Monday, but you can get up to 20% off all English foils. We're talking about Felice, Day of Judgment, Lotus Bloom, and who? Merriam of Clan. I'm not a Commander player.
I'm not either.
I'm not a Commander player. I've never seen that card in my entire life. I'm sure Jeremy Nolan and the rest of the Commander versus crew have, however. Up to 20% off all English foils. Go.StarCityGames.com/weekly sale. It's apparently Merriam of Clan Neltoff. Sure it is. Whenever another creature you control dies, I don't want an experience counter. Get that off the screen. I don't know what that does. Let's watch this.
I don't even know what an experience counter does.
I don't know what that is.
I don't play Commander.
We're going to look at that promo a bunch later.
I haven't played Commander in a long time.
I haven't either. Well, I'm sure we're going to look at that promo a bunch later. Got to make sure you guys get some cards, get some discounts.
Look, I don't like admitting when I don't know what a mechanic in Magic does, but like if it's from Conspiracy or Commander, I think that's okay.
Look, that's
not for me.
I still don't have a great idea of what the Monarch is. Palace Jailer kind of shows up sometimes. I don't know what it does.
You're the Monarch. That's what it does.
Thanks, man.
And if you're the Monarch, you draw a card at the end of your turn when you're the Monarch. Okay. And you lose the monarchy when someone hits you with a creature.
We have a Lightning Axe. I believe you, but you could be lying.
Oh, I'm so smart.
Lightning Axe is going to discard Vengevine. Thalia's on the battlefield here. There's a land, unclaimed territory, another noble hierarch. There you go. So not the best Lightning Axe. It is an attempt there to mana screw Merriam.
Yeah, the fact that Nathaniel discarded Vengevine means he probably... Oh, he has 2 bridges in hand. Wow. I was going to say he probably doesn't have bridge. I'm just wrong.
Insolent Neonate, discard a bridge, make a zombie.
He just wants to get the Vengevine on the battlefield this turn.
Got a Walking Ballista that you can play to get Vengevine back and make a zombie. There's Hangerback Walker. Okay. Zombie, Vengevine's back. Vengevine better than Thalia. We're going to make another zombie? No, we're just going to come across here for 4 right now.
Yeah, we could chump block here for Ross and get rid of the Bridge from Below at the graveyard. But honestly, I don't think you want to.
I feel like not yet.
No, not yet. I think the mana is pretty important here from Noble Hierarch. And the Thalia checking one of the zombies every turn I think is also important. You have 20 life to work with. Like I said, this is a bad matchup. Nathaniel also just has another Bridge from Below in hand. Ross doesn't have great means of interaction here. I think the best play he can make this turn is Reflector Maging the Vengevine. But that's it. That's the best play he can make this turn. And that's still not that good.
Not great. I mean, not bad. He needs to get it off the battlefield because he can't really interact with it very well. There is a card that is lacking from Ross's sideboard that I do like a lot in Humans right now. And I don't love it in this matchup, but I do like it in Orgok Champion.
Sure.
A little bit surprised not to see that in his sideboard here this weekend, but you can tell he's taking a slant to try to beat the control decks with the Dire Fleet Daredevils and the copies of Sin Collector. Oh, sound the horn.
You know, it doesn't look that bad here.
It looks okay.
So, in this matchup, I don't think it's great, but the draw from Nathaniel was not insanely explosive. Like, you didn't make 6 Haste Goblins on turn 2 or whatever with a Vengevine.
It's true.
The Bugler here, I think, is going to be able to chump block or threaten to chump block the Vengevine to get rid of the bridges. And it also found another creature, which is exactly what Ross needs to be able to contain this board from Nathaniel.
Horizon Canopy is the land. Meddling Mage was the find. Let's head back over to Nathaniel now, who will draw a card, looking to have an even more explosive draw here. Looks like he might be consulting with his teammates. And we can let you know the matchups there on the leaderboard. Tannen Grace up a game right now over Dylan Connolly. Grixis Delver up a game over Jeskai Control. And for Brennan DeCandio, we haven't seen him for a little while, but he's back to his winning ways. Black-blue mid-range, his weapon of choice in Standard, against Cody Shu, playing green-black Constrictor. Put our attention here. Nathaniel is going to play a Walking Ballista for 1.
Oh, that's gas. So this deck doesn't cast the Hangerback Walkers and the Walking Ballistas very much. So you know that the effect is good when they actually decide to invest the mana into them. Because he could have just played it for 0, basically made a free 2/2 zombie. But killing that Thalia is going to be really big here.
Yep.
He still gets the zombie, though, from the bridge from below because the creature dies with the target on the stack.
Correct. Sacrificing is part of the cost. Actually, no, he won't get it.
Removing the counter is part of the cost, and it goes to the graveyard. So it targets removing the counter, hits the graveyard, and then
Well, you're doing the hand thing like they're doing the hand thing.
Yeah.
This is great.
And then the zombie goes on top of the thing, and then the zombie comes in, and then the 1 damage resolves.
So you're saying he will get the zombie?
He 100% gets the zombie.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
And then the bridge exiles after.
Okay, you're right.
Ha! He's doing the same thing.
I think Nathaniel knows how to play his deck, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he put a zombie into play when he sacrificed Insolent Neonate and discarding bridge from below.
He's already on top of it.
He knows what's up.
Yeah. All right, Merriam's going to lose the Thalia, take 4, down to 12. Let's head it back his way. Big draw step here. He needs to find something like a Mana Strider, get some pressure going here. Meddling Mages are fine in certain spots. Not great on this battlefield, however.
No, he doesn't have one of his Champion of the Parish or Thal's Lieutenants on the battlefield, so casting something like Meddling Mage doesn't gain you like the necessary amount of power and toughness to be able to check the creatures from the other side.
Well, we're going to go copy another the Bugler. Take a look at the top couple. See if he can find maybe a Thalia's Lieutenant. That would be useful right now. Be a Champion of the Parish. Maybe.
I think it just needs some more cheap creatures. A 1-drop here is pretty good. I believe he has another land, so we could play Champion into something like Meddling Mage, naming Goblin Bushwhacker.
Bugler looking fine here.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Looks fine.
And this is a matchup where it's actively bad.
It's true. Looks fine.
Yeah.
Meddling Mage. Counter on the Champion. We'll see what he's going to name here. Could be Bushwhacker this time. We'll get confirmation from our table spotter here in just a moment.
Yeah, Nathaniel here, I think, is ahead, but he's not that far ahead. He needs some really big turn. I believe he has another bridge in hand, but I don't know that he has a way to put it into the graveyard. He needs some sort of sacrifice outlet as well to be able to put the Vengevine back in the graveyard, generate a zombie, and then just keep bringing it back.
Goblin Bushwhacker was the name there for the Meddling Mage, the card that Ross lost to in the first game. He's going to try to stop this game. This is a Kitesail freebooter. Put a counter there on the Champion. We'll get a look at the grip. Below. Well, it's pretty good Meddling Mage.
Got him!
That was pretty good Meddling Mage. Sorry about that whammy.
Oh, the tides have turned.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, he's probably feeling pretty good now. Yeah, probably feeling pretty good now.
What do I name with Meddling Mage? He has 3 Bushwhackers in hand.
Yeah. What would you name here?
I would name Faithless Looting, the card that lets him get rid of the 3 dead Goblin Bushwhackers.
All right. I like it.
I mean, he already saw 1 Lightning Axe. I can't. I don't think that Ross thinks that there's, more than 2 or 3 from the other side to be able to clean up the first one.
Well, you can put a range on it, right? It's got to. If I'm in Ross, I'm thinking max 3, and he's already used 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Lightning Axe is a bad name, but Faithless Looting, I think, is the card that will turbocharge Nathan's draw by just letting him get rid of some dead cards.
Well, Looting is the name.
He got Chewer. Did not expect that.
I don't like that.
I mean, Nathaniel is probably just hedging with things like Ingot Chewer just in case Ross brings in something like Grafdigger's Cage, because while it doesn't stop Bridge, it does shut down things like Gravecrawler and Vengevine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously gets to blow up a Vial, which is nice. Going to start sacrificing a couple of Horizon Canopies
Sure
here.
too.
But one of the aspects of this deck that you love, right, is how explosive it is. And this turns off some of the explosiveness by having this card and trying to interact in this fashion. I just want to overpower him. I just want to bowl him over. Now here's a Gravecrawler. And this is where this deck in Red-Black Vengevine gets a little worse. For how explosive it is, when you get in situations like this and you can't use your Bushwhackers or you don't have your bridges going, you're a pretty fair deck, man.
Oh, for sure. A lot of decks in Modern have the ability to deal a massive amount of damage or effectively lock the game out as early as like turn 3 or 4. However, if you're unable to do that, or your opponent has the right means of interaction to keep you from doing that, you're not a fair Magic deck. Like, you don't really do a whole lot of regular Magic. Yep. So right now you're seeing Nathaniel kind of not only stuck because of the Goblin Bushwhackers in hand due to Meddling Mage, but also stuck because, if he draws an instant Neonate, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
With no bridge from below in the yard, one got taken with a Kitesail Freebooter.
Well,
can't cast Faithless Looting.
Here's a Stitcher Supplier. Yeah. Doesn't find a bridge, though.
Doesn't find a bridge. And he doesn't have a sacrifice outlet to trigger it.
Ross looks like he's going to play an instant Staticaster on the end step. Put a counter on the champion. Curious if he wants to use it to maybe kill Gravecrawler. He does not. So he'll just untap and draw. What Ross needs right now is Mana Strider like more than anything in the world.
Yeah, Mana Strider, another Phantasmal Image to clear all the zombies would also be pretty good. Another Izzet Staticaster to kill all the zombies would be pretty good. I think he's in fine shape, though.
I think he's in totally fine shape, but I don't want to give him more draw steps, basically. I'd like to be able to get this game over with. Now, there are a lot of bad draw steps for Nathaniel in this situation. He's got a lot of bad cards here. There's Ingot Chewer. Well, take that Vial.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have burned it here. There's a chance that Nathaniel's going to end up needing something like that at some point. Not just to kill the Vial, but to either trigger Vengevine, get a zombie off bridge from below just by casting the creature.
Nathaniel tried to get in there with the Stitcher Supplier, hoping Ross would maybe block it with a creature that would kill it and trigger it. Ross blocking with his 0-3 as a Staticaster said, that's not going to happen here, buddy.
Yeah, I think it's important to note Ross is not killing the Gravecrawler because it's actually better in the graveyard for helping to bring back Vengevines because it's not doing any attacking on this battlefield right now.
Reflector Mage is going to bounce the Vengevine. I think Ross might be clear for takeoff to actually make some real attacks now.
I'm shoving here. I think both Buglers can come in because the Staticaster. So basically what Ross can do is Staticaster the zombies after blocks if Nathaniel tries to double block. And if he does double block, he's able to put 1 damage on all the zombies, and then the Bugler can deal 1/1 to the zombies during combat damage.
And then finish them off with the Staticaster?
No, you have to do the Staticaster first because of how ordering block works.
Yeah, you're right. Because damage on stuff like that. Assign lethal damage. As it were. Ross Merriam's going to win game number 2 here against Nathaniel Monsees. Humans, Red-Black Vengevine getting ready here for game number 3. Quick scoreboard update. Tan Grace, Brendan DeCandio still up 1-0. Nothing has changed for the members of Team BCW. For their opponents, Dylan Connolly, Nathaniel Monsees, and Cody Shue. Pretty close matchup thus far as we work our way through our first round of our Team Constructed Open here in Dallas. You see they're both going to go back to the drawing board here a little bit. I don't think much changes for either player, however.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I agreed with Ross bringing in Staticaster. I don't think much else can come in. Hostage Taker might be okay just as a 2/3 body that also can exile a zombie or something that would want to stick around on the battlefield.
Eat a Vengevine.
Yeah, eating a Vengevine, eating a Stitcher Supplier so you don't get that extra trigger, eating something like a Viscerous here, even though they could sacrifice it, clearing it off the battlefield is important.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the sideboards here again. I don't think much changes. Not surprised to see Ross is the Staticaster. Might bring in the Hostage Taker, like you mentioned. Might bring in the Dismember because he can kill his own thing. He can kill a Vengevine. Obviously, you got to pay a lot of life to do that. A little bit scary there. And then for Nathaniel, we saw Ingot Chewer in some capacity. We knew Lightning Axe was going to come in. I still don't love the Ingot Chewer. I will say that.
I mean, the fact that it kills Aether Vial, if you can hit that early, Aether Vial on turn 1 is the best start for humans.
Yes.
Like, you can make arguments for Noble Hierarch or Champion of the Parish. Like, some matchups, yes, playing a Champion on 1 is better because it allows you to put more damage on your opponent. But 95% of the time, a turn 1 Aether Vial is better than anything else because it generates so much mana so quickly, and the fact that it has diminishing returns and multiples, as well as it's really bad when you play it after turn 1, means that, if it's in your deck, it's there for a reason. You want to play the 3 drops on turn 4, and you want to start chaining Buglers. You want to start using Phantasmal Images to copy Bugler, and you want to make sure you can use your Horizon Canopies without mana screwing yourself.
Well, these players are going to shuffle up. They're going to get ready for this third and final game. Entertaining start, but it's modern, so of course it's entertaining. Very quickly, we would love for you, our lovely fans, to join the feature match area here on Twitch, because you get to decide the quarterfinals, you get access to custom emoticons and badges, you get to chat, you get to have a bunch of fun, and it's only $4.99 a month, or you can of course use that Amazon subscription as well. Twitch.tv/SCG Tour. Join the feature match area today. Have some fun in there while you watch some Magic, but hey, keep it friendly out there. Otherwise, we'll ban you.
I know I will.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just ban you from the chat.
I'm pretty sure I banned a Twitch subscriber once.
Get out. Be nice.
No, I unbanned him. I felt bad.
Oh, come on.
I shouldn't have that much power.
That's true. That's really true. I don't know how you weaseled your way into that one.
I believe one time when I was at home watching coverage, I just asked our director Taylor to give me mod privileges.
Oh, so I have to have a little talk with Taylor later today.
It might not have been Taylor.
I see. Was it Rob?
It might have been Rob.
Was it Rob? It was Rob.
Actually, no, it was Dan May. It was Dan May, 100%.
I like Dan too
I like
much.
Dan too, and he likes me. That's why I'm a mod now.
Nice.
I have the sword. I can slice him open.
Oh, boy. It's getting graphic out here. Both these players are going to take a look at their opening hands here in just a moment. Nathaniel will be on the play, and, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm playing against a deck like this that's just very explosive, I'm always just in the back of my head thinking, don't let it be too bad.
Yeah.
On the first turn.
100%.
I always wonder if Magic players think the same crazy things in their head that I do. That it's just like, please just don't annihilate me on the first turn.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing a deck like humans. It's not like you can really do anything about 20 zombies on the second or third turn. Your opponent can just go off. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you're just sitting there and you're just thinking, my hand's good. Just don't make it hurt too much.
Yeah, the thing about the Vengevine deck, turn 1's never going to be that bad. Like, if they go Faithless Looting, discard 2 Bridges from Below, and they play, 5 0-mana creatures, that's the nuts. Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
That's really bad. That is really bad. But the turns you should be really afraid of are when they set that up with turn 2 with extra mana and can do another thing like put a Vengevine into the graveyard or just kick a Goblin Bushwhacker.
Sure. It can be scary. Ross going to take a mulligan here. It's going to go down a little bit lower. So we'll see if he can find a 6-card hand. You see he's taking a look at Tannen Grace's match. We might be hopping over there here in just a moment. We'll see. Tannen, of course, the legacy expert for this trio of Grace, Merriam, and DeCandio. DeCandio normally your standard player, and Merriam, generally your modern player, is Ross. He likes humans. He sometimes switches over to elves. Was playing Blue Moon for a little bit.
Yeah. I told him it was bad for like a month straight.
Well,
he didn't listen.
The 29-year-old from Middletown, Connecticut, with 21 open top 8s, 4 wins. Maybe number 5 coming this weekend. 2 invitational top 8s as well. We know he was on Jeopardy. He loves eggs for breakfast, which we had for breakfast.
He also got Pranjalled.
Well, most people got Pranjalled. Tim Ayton got Pranjalled.
That's true.
Yeah, everyone got Pranjalled. And for whatever reason, he's a huge Utah Jazz and Joe Ingles fan, is Ross Merriam, who appears to be keeping and scrying. We're underway. It's a Blood Crypt untapped. How bad is it? Citrus Supplier.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
No?
Hit a Gravecrawler, I believe. Nope. That's just one of those lands that doesn't look like it's supposed to.
Noble Hierarch, you're off on unclaimed territory, naming humans. Now, here's the big question. How's the second turn look? Faithless Looting, not a bad start here for Nathaniel. Picked up a couple of cards, amongst them a Bridge from Below.
Oh, he's playing so fast. I love this guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's probably played close to 1,000 matches with this deck.
Wooded Foothills will be the sacrifice. 2 Bridge from Belows in the graveyard. Blood Crypt is the land he'll find. Down to 15. Nathaniel's life total generally doesn't matter. He's trying to be as explosive as possible. Todd mentioned he's playing pretty quickly. He's going to believe he's got something nice to do this turn.
Looks like he's just going to Ingot Chewer to make 2 zombies. That's not so bad. He wants to use his mana efficiently. There's no real targets outside of Ether Vial. So if Ross doesn't start with Ether Vial, it doesn't have a lot to do.
I suppose Ingot Chewer has some value in that regard. You know, if Ross did start with an Ether Vial, getting the opportunity to blow that up and make a couple zombies is pretty huge. As it stands, 2 zombies are certainly fine on this battlefield.
Yeah, I don't love this attack from Nathaniel.
I don't love this attack either.
He's giving Ross the option basically to lose the Noble Hierarch or get rid of the 2 bridges from below. And it looks like Ross has at least a land in hand, so getting rid of these 2 bridges right now would be huge if he's able to continually put up some defense over the next few turns.
So what's interesting here is that bridge is the most valuable resource for this deck, in my opinion. This is we call it Red Black Vengevine. This is really a bridge from below deck. And,
100%.
And now Ross is given the opportunity to say, I can remove 2 of the 4 from your deck right now. Mathematically, the chances of you finding another 1 or the other 2, pretty low. Not impossible, obviously. Anything can happen. And Ross is a math guy, so I think he might be, this is what's taking him so long, is, I might want to get rid of these. You mentioned he does have another land in hand, it appears. And if he can just get a bit of a battlefield built, he'll be able to really start to build some ground here.
Yeah, I mean, in Nathaniel's draw, it was good, but it's not that good. Like, I saw a second copy of Ingot Chewer in hand. He really wants to translate that Ingot Chewer into 2 more zombies, and now with him attacking into the Noble Hierarch, he's eliminated his ability to utilize his own cards.
Here's a Meddling Mage. I imagine it's going to name Faithless Looting, but we'll get confirmation. Could also name Goblin Bushwhacker in this situation as we head back over to Nathaniel. Nathaniel going to play a Blood Crypt untapped very quickly. Bushwhacker is the name. Faithless Looting from the graveyard will be the play. So 2 cards coming. 2 will be going to the graveyard. Blackleaf Cliffs among the draws there.
Yeah, I think while Bushwhacker is the card that deals the most damage in this spot, it also is it's not the card that can fix Nathaniel's draw. The Faithless Lootings are in the graveyard. If he has a 3rd land, he's able to flash it back. Since Nathaniel didn't go ballistic in the first few turns with a bunch of 0-mana creatures, and he had multiple ways to discard, so he doesn't have Vengevine, that just means the Bushwhacker should not be a priority, and it should be Faithless Looting.
Let's see what the play is here for Ross. He's going to go with the Champion of the Parish to start. He'll play a Cavern of Souls. Could be naming Illusion with this one. We'll see. And now Illusion is the name. Here is Thalia's Lieutenant. Make these creatures a little bit bigger. And now Ross actually getting on the aggressive because Nathaniel has taken a lot of damage from those Blood Crypts. So now Nathaniel's down to 10. And now Ross could actually be the aggressor here as opposed to trying to turtle up a little bit because, as you mentioned, it doesn't appear as though Nathaniel's draw is all that good right now. Let's see what this is. This is a Greater Gargadon. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he could maybe find another bridge from below off of the Stitcher Supplier sacrifice. But 9 damage looming means that Ross basically always has to keep 1 blocker back.
3 cards going to go to the graveyard. None of them matter in this instance. Stitcher Supplier, Greater Gargadon, and a Walking Ballista. A Lightning Axe is going to take care of the Champion of the Parish. And here come the zombies. But Ross isn't at a low enough life total to really care about this. So he's going to fall down to 11, quickly untap, and take a draw step.
Yeah, without Bridge from Below in the graveyard, Greater Gargadon is not that scary. The power of Gargadon in this archetype comes paired with Bridge from Below in the graveyard, being able to start chaining things like Gravecrawler while creating zombies. The 9 counters left on it, effectively mean it needs 9 permanents to sacrifice or 8 next turn with the tick down.
See what this is going to be. This is going to be a static caster here. Put a counter on the Lieutenant, and Ross is going to continue to pressure his opponent, put him down to 5. Play a Horizon Canopy past the turn back. Gargadon's going to lose a counter. Nathaniel probably can't even attack anymore. He'll take a look at the graveyard here very quickly to see what the options are. But we mentioned how quickly he was playing at the opening stages of this game. Maybe a little too quickly, Todd, because that Citrus Supplier attack may have cost him the game.
Yeah, honestly, I think that he would have had a much better shot of winning this game by not chipping in with a Supplier there. Losing those 2 bridges, even though you got to get rid of the Noble Hierarch and slow the Human's deck down, it just turns off his entire deck.
Here's a Hangerback Walker, and I don't think this is going to work the way that Nathaniel wanted to because Ross is going to get the opportunity to shoot this on the end step, but Thopter went to the battlefield, but Static Caster's going to get to untap. Yeah. Also get to take his turn, and we could be seeing just a lethal attack here.
Yeah, I mean, if you chip off the 1/1 flyer and then attack for 5, that looks like game over to me. Unless he has another copy of Lightning Axe and another card in hand.
Well, he's only got 1 card in hand right now. So I'm not sure if Nathaniel has a way. Gargadon's got too many counters on it for, I think, it to matter in this situation as well. 7 counters, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can sacrifice 6 permanents.
So here's the thing. Nathaniel knows he's in bad shape, right? Ross could assume that Nathaniel has Fatal Push in hand in this spot.
Okay.
Otherwise, why would he make this play? Why would he attack for 4? Why would he play Hangerback Walker when he knows that Ross can just shoot it down, end of turn, and then untap and do it again? So there's a chance that Ross doesn't go for lethal this turn, just because if he does, he'll just end up dying to the Greater Gargadon.
There's a chance.
But now that he has the backup blocker with Athalia's lieutenant, now he's just going to go for it and hope for the best. And luckily for him, it's good enough to work.
Ross Merriam's going to win this match here over Nathaniel Monsees. 2-1. Humans going to take care of Red Black Vengevine, and that means Team BCW, Tan and Grace, Ross Merriam, and Brendan DeCandio are going to get things started right. They are 1-0 here this weekend in Dallas, and you got to remember, and I think it was the first show that you covered with